All right, the journey continues. This is going to be, I think I'm just doing two drafts right now, third and fourth Best Ball Mania 5 drafts of the year. Going to stream all 150. Pretty excited to do so. I thought the drafts last night, actually, the drafts themselves, not my favorites, not my least favorites either. I thought they were okay. Um, Hopefully, we do some better drafts today. Hopefully, we get some good values, some fun stacks that fall to us. I'm going to jump in just 1 minute. Let's see here. All right. I'll throw on the overlay here. We're going to jump into a draft. I do want to say I'm doing more statistical analysis this year. It's going to be a bigger part of my process. I'm going to be, watching other stuff, consuming a lot of content as I always do, listen to other people. But I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more independent research this year than I have historically. I'm not outsourcing quite as much. I'll still be outsourcing a lot, trying to listen to other people, but I think I am going to be doing some more on my own this year as well. I asked Scott Barrett today what he thought I should be looking at using the fantasy points data suite. What kind of advanced stats are the most useful? And he pointed me to this page, the statistically significant page on the Fantasy Points website. They have up 5 articles, all by Ryan Heath. Ryan Heath, a guy that just a really, really sharp guy, really sharp writer. He has done a deep dive into some of the stats that they have found to be relevant year over year. So I decided to, I think each day for the next, next couple weeks, I'm going to, dive into one of these stats each day, just real quickly at the beginning of the stream. So today, the first one here, missed tackles forced per touch is the first article we looked at. I pulled up the data suite already, got it all ready to go. I did a minimum of 50 touches here to see who is the leader right now, who are the leaders in missed tackles forced per touch. And currently, you can see here, Deebo Samuel led the league last year, missed tackles forced per touch, minimum of 50 touches. He didn't get to 100. So Ryan in his article used 100 as the minimum threshold. I thought 50, is kind of still interesting to look at, just a different look. You can see Deebo Samuel looks really good. Keaton Mitchell, number 2. Not a huge surprise, a little bit of a surprise for me that Keaton Mitchell was number 2 in this stat. Jalen Warren, not a huge shock. Kenneth Walker, some of these guys. So these are all guys who looked good, from an efficiency standpoint in terms of missed tackles forced per touch. And of course, I am using the fantasy points data here. If you want access to the fantasy points data, as you can see at the top of the screen, you can use promo code Flannel to get 15% off any fantasy points product. And what I'm looking at here is the data suite, which I think is great. It gives you a little bit of a different look, different kind of stats than you're going to find elsewhere, in part because they have their own team tracking every NFL game. So they have people watching every single NFL game, and they are analyzing themselves. What is a missed tackle? And it might be different than, PFF would grade a missed tackle, or, other people who do stats, because they, I think Fantasy Points is a little bit more lenient in what they, from my understanding, they're a little bit more lenient in what they're going to consider a missed tackle. So like if you juke somebody 4 yards out, Fantasy Points is going to consider that a missed tackle, where that might not be considered a missed tackle somewhere like PFF. So it's kind of interesting just to get a different flavor of some of these stats. And they have found missed tackles forced per touch to be very statistically significant. I thought the biggest surprise to me at the top was Antonio Gibson, really good by this metric, missed tackles forced. And I think he actually had 100. He actually got the 100 touches threshold as well. So he's really high up there, which I did not realize that Antonio Gibson was that good at forcing missed tackles. Cool to see that. Nico Collins up there as well. Somewhat of a surprise to me, not a huge surprise. He was so good last year, but a little bit of a surprise. Jaleel McLaughlin up there, not a huge shock. Of course, Breece Hall. Chase Brown looked really good, and I think Zach Moss was relatively high on the list as well. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, he's down here at 39 out of we're at 150 players reached the 50 touch threshold. So 39, not bad, but not as high as Chase Brown was there. What do you think? Anybody? I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 17. There's a surprise to me. Any other big surprises here at the top? Those are some that kind of jumped out to me as, unexpectedly good at missed tackles forced per touch. But again, yeah, promo code Flannel, 15% off if you want to take a look at the Fantasy Points data suite. I don't think you showed up to this stream in particular for a deep dive into the stats. You can look at them on your own. I'll be doing some other short videos, I think, covering stuff like this. But this draft, of course, the purpose is to draft some Best Ball Mania teams, because I'm trying to stream all 150. it's going to take some time. So we gotta get some out of the way right away. I'm about to jump into my third Best Ball Mania 5 draft. It is whenever o'clock. Hopefully you will join me for this draft entering now. All right, we got a few waiting, so hopefully some people watching the stream are going to be able to join me in this draft. Glad you enjoyed the promo code, Steven. Yeah, I got to choose the promo code. Got the same one, anywhere that I have promos. I think currently it's just Fantasy Points and Spike Week. You can get 40% off Spike Week, any of their products, using promo code Flannel as well. What's going on, Ben? Good to see you here. Keon Coleman, yeah, Keon Coleman gaining steam, not a huge shock to me. Great landing spot. I don't think you could have asked for a better landing spot for Keon Coleman than the Bills. All right, so we got the 10 hole here. Not my favorite spot, but honestly, could be worse. AJ Brown, worst case scenario. That's not a bad worst case scenario. I have no idea what to make of Jason Kelsey being gone, like how impactful that is going to be for the tush push or just in general. Like I'm definitely a little bit concerned that they're going to be a little bit less efficient, but not that concerned. I still think they're going to be a good offense. So yeah, if I get AJ Brown, not the end of the world. Hopefully somebody else falls to me. Good with the 10 spot. Yeah, I enjoyed the little bits of press conferences that I've seen on Keon Coleman. I'm with you. Immaculate is correct. Immaculate vibes. All right, so we're off to the races here. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Chalk start here. No big shocks. Jamar Chase. I think we're going right by ADP so far. In my rankings, I'm using the same rankings I was using last night. So I started with the ETR rankings. I made some adjustments. So, you can't just look at my rankings and assume that they're going to be the same as ETR. I actually made quite a few rankings, but I think that they are, they're sharp. So I think it's a good starting point. I'm going to be, throughout the year, I'll be mixing up what rankings I'm using. I might do my own rankings at some point. I also like to just mix it up from time to time just to kind of get a different flavor to my draft. So I'm not always, landing on the same players every draft. I frequently am making changes to my rankings after I import other people's rankings. I don't want to land on, I diversify my portfolio quite a bit. Best ball. All right. So we are no, huge fallers coming to me as far as rankings or ADP. Either going to be Puka or AJ Brown next. I'm good with either of those. Totally happy with either as my 10th pick. Astro Mango's Puka. I'm going AJ Brown here. Maybe consider doing an Eagle stack. We'll see what falls back to me. I think Bo Nix is being drafted generally. I'm for it. I said it on the stream last night. I think that Bo Nix is probably starting this year, and I think he might be good. That's I keep hearing from people that the field may be kind of misunderstanding Bo Nix, not giving him quite enough credit. I know I reached out to Whistles Go Woo a few months back. He's a fellow Vikings fan. Reached out and asked him who he wanted the Vikings to take. He really wanted the Vikings to take Bo Nix. He's a huge believer. I've heard some other people do some deep dives into Bo Nix where they've said, yeah, he's actually way better than people are giving him credit for. Again, kind of hoping they're wrong because I'm not a huge Sean Payton fan, but at the same time, not going to cheer against the youngish quarterback. All right, what do I want to do here? I could do the Eagles. I'm probably not drafting a lot of Saquon unless I have AJ Brown. Of course, if I take Saquon every time I get AJ Brown, I'm going to end up with more than I want. I do like Drake London at this pick. Debating if I want to go on try the Eagles stack. Yeah, let's do it. It's fun. I won't be drafting. I don't think that Saquon should be the 15th overall pick, if I'm being honest. But let's make a bet on the Eagles offense. Make an exception here. Get the rare Saquon share. Yeah, that's I don't think I disagree. I think that Bo Nix is a very strong late round quarterback pick. Of course, I think Bryce Young also could be like a lot better than he was last year. It's a new look offense. But yeah, I think Bo Nix just might be good. Might come in and have a strong rookie year. Might be starting week 1. So no disagreement there. Drake London goes 16 to Astro Mang. You are welcome. Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor. See, this is the part of the draft that just not fun for me. I don't enjoy this range here. It's like I don't feel great about any of the clicks. Now maybe I'm wrong to not feel great about them. Maybe it's just that they're not sexy, and maybe they are just really solid picks. But last year it kind of felt the same way. The second round never felt great, and then the second round was not great. Like some of my favorite teams are the ones where I reached and took Jalen Hurts in the second round. So I don't know. Yeah, but I think it's going to be better this year than it was last year. We do have Debo's looking good. Ayuk, can take some of these guys, but you get warts pretty quickly in the second round here. Nico Collins, now one of 3 receivers, splitting work there in Houston, doesn't feel great. Debo and Ayuk, I think, are still pretty strong picks. They, it doesn't feel great clicking them, but to me, maybe to other people, it does feel great clicking them. Just feels like there's too many mouths to feed there as of right now, but also one of them could get traded pretty easily, and then it's going to look a lot better. Yeah, I don't know. This section of the draft just does not feel great to me. Which sometimes when this happens, I end up reaching a lot more and taking guys like Jalen Waddle, Malik Neighbors, those guys, and just hoping for the upside. Yeah, thank you, Zach. I might be crazy. Pete Overzet did it last year, and it said he's not doing it this year. He's not a huge proponent of doing it. So maybe I'm crazy to do it, despite the warnings. But I think I haven't been doing a lot of content, and I've been wanting to do a lot of content. I kind of feel like streaming all 150 forces me in a way to do more content, which I've been wanting to do. Yeah, it is kind of fun to not have to worry about it's never been as big a priority for me as it is for others anyway. So I'm like, it's one of those things. If I don't get a week 17 ring back, I'm okay with it. I want to. I'd like to get the week 17 ring back. To me, it's more of I feel more pressure, more stress about getting just my primary stacks, just getting my quarterback with wide receivers. Care more about that than the week 17 bring back. That's kind of it feels good. It's a bonus if I can get the week 17 bring back, but not like not something I'm forcing early in drafts. But maybe something I need to be thinking about more, trying to force it a little bit more. But yeah, for now, can't worry about it because we don't know. We just don't know. Josh Allen goes. Really hard to value right now. Josh Allen. It's a fun team to stack still, so I think I don't hate the idea of taking Josh Allen there. But hard to know how they're going to be without Diggs. Another kind of new look offense there. It felt comfortable. If you could just get that, 2-3 turn, Allen and Diggs together, felt good. Now it's like, all right, I'll take Allen, figure it out later on who I'm getting in the Buffalo stack. Astro Mango's Laporta. So I think I continue my stack here. What do you think? Do I take Stevie Ballgame, Shea Dennis? I think if I take Hurts here, no, I think if I take Devontae Smith here, they should let me get Hurts. I am making the risk that I have three Eagles and don't have the quarterback. But generally, I don't think people are like itching to get Hurts solo without one of his receivers. We'll see. All right, that's a strong take. Complete loser if you don't get at least 2 week 17 stacks. Interesting. Lamar, I don't hate that pick. Yeah, I did this yesterday on stream. Lamar and Derrick Henry. I think, you're pushing it, hoping that you're going to get one of Zay or Mark Andrews to fall back to you. Is the dream there? It did not work out for me. I had to go back to get Bateman and Isaiah Likely later on in the draft. So there are ways to backstack Lamar. Obviously, you love it if you can get the early stack with Lamar and Mark Andrews is my favorite. And it happened in the pre-draft stuff. I was able to do it a lot at this turn, at the 4-5 turn. You could do Mark Andrews with Zay Flowers, or Lamar Jackson with Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews, and that felt good. I think this is a fun start though. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I like it. Just take all of the Eagles, make a bet on the offense. I like the start. Yeah, tell me about it. I was so dead last year. I took a ton of Daniel Jones in 2 quarterback builds. Yeah, it was by the end of the year, it was really just a battle of attrition when you had 2 quarterbacks last year. I think I'm still going to be doing a lot of it this year. Hope that people overreact to what happened last year. But certainly I'll have a fair amount of 3 wide receiver builds as well. Because you're right, it did not feel good to get to the playoffs and just have no quarterback there for the playoffs. Or like, last year we had the top 10,000 leaderboard. I had some teams that were looking really good, and then they didn't have quarterbacks for a month and fell out. So it was kind of a rough end to the year for a lot of us, especially if you were in on guys like Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, the guys who got hurt, Daniel Jones. Did not feel good. CJ Stroud, what do you got here? Matt Scribb. He's got Stroud with Stephon Diggs. Mahomes goes to big driver. No stack yet. Who's he going to add to it? Does he have? Could add Rashee Rice. What do we think? Is Rashee Rice? Is there going to be a flipping in with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy? I don't think so, unless we get news on Worthy's suspension where it's larger than we thought. But what do you guys think? Fun rookie could happen. This is a fun start. I'm glad. I'm glad I went this way. Again, probably not taking a ton of Saquon at the 15th overall pick. Don't see a ton of upside there, but part of the stack, it's kind of fun. I'll do it from time to time. And now I think I've got Jalen Hurts. Probably don't need more than 2 quarterbacks in this one. Joe Burrow, is he jumping up now? He's still got the ADP of 73.6. I guess just wanted to complete his stack. Probably could have pushed it there, but also sucks when you start a stack and aren't able to complete it. So I understand wanting to reach a little bit there. Andrews goes. So sorry to Jay Dennis not getting your Baltimore stack to fall to you. He does have the quarterback running back stack. Not the worst thing. All right, so I'm sorted by ADP right now. And again, I've completed my stacks, so I feel pretty good about where I'm at. Amari Cooper, I'm pretty sure he's one that I've moved up pretty significantly from where ETR had him. I think I might have with Kincaid also. Do I want Pitts or Kincaid? I think Kincaid here. Pretty unscathed by the draft. I mean, Keon Coleman might be good, but he might not be good, and it could just be Dalton Kincaid's offense. He might be the lead target earner for the Bills, which that is a good thing to be. A tight end, if you are the lead target earner, like that's I think I'm in. Probably not like way over the field in, but I think I'm, I can see the upside case there with Dalton Kincaid. Oh, did he take Mahomes? No, he took Lamar. Yeah. Okay. Pitts goes. All right. So I got my one tight end. Could still take Amari Cooper here. Do I want how many receivers? I've got 2 receivers. Kind of want to take Marquise Brown. Nah, I'm doing Amari Cooper. That's tough between those 2. No, Ryder. There's no reason. There you go. Yeah, I could have taken Mixon there. It does not feel good to not get a lot of receivers early. So wanted to load up here since I took Saquon in the second round. Kind of made the bet on Saquon already, but yeah, I think Mixon. He also looked better than I thought he would in that missed tackles forced per touch. I don't think of Saquon or of Mixon as being great in that. But yeah, he looked pretty good in the missed tackles forced per touch, as I recall. See if I can pull it up quickly. Where's Mixon? Maybe not as high as I thought he was. 45th out of 150 with 50 minimum. I think he might have looked a little bit higher out of the minimum of 100 touches, but still not bad. All right, so the start we got here, Hurts with Smith and AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley at running back, added Kincaid as our tight end one, and Amari Cooper as our third wide receiver. A little bit of a run on running backs here in the 6th round. Haven't drafted a ton of Alvin Kamara. This to me feels like kind of a dead zone, but also dead zone is kind of the wrong. It's a not fun zone for me. Like I don't feel great. I think I see these running backs here as just about the same tier as all the running backs, like up through like 125, 130. So that it's hard for me to want to take. I do like Mixon where he's going, but it's hard for me to want to take Kamara, Walker, Jones, Montgomery. Just if there are so many other running backs on the board, because I don't see it as like a really big break in the tier there. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, good point. Good point. 888. I did say last night that we are mega T here, not taking wide receivers, but got to mix it up from time to time. No, I am still mostly a zero RB guy. Trying out some different things. Got to experiment in these drafts. Get a lot of different looks here. But I like to start. I feel pretty good about the way this has gone so far. Lad McConkey, what's his ADP these days? Let's see, he's on Jay Mull's team. Let me leave this. Jay Mull, Lad McConkey ADP of 98.0. Okay, so it was a little bit of a reach. Yeah, he reached for Joe Burrow a little bit. Guess he's got his guys that he wants. I'm going to make my pick before we look at the board again. Deontay Johnson. Do I add another wide receiver here? DeAndre Hopkins. Do like Ramondre Stevenson a bit. I'm not sure if I have taken 2 shares of any player yet. This is only my 3rd draft, so that's not like too crazy, but not sure if it's happened. I'm Richio takes Christian Watson ahead of DeAndre Hopkins. You don't see that all that often. I don't hate it. I think it's a totally reasonable thing to do. All right, who do I want here? Do I just go Hopkins? Do I go Deontay? I was just talking about how I think it's a new look offense there for Carolina. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Deontay, I think that he's another guy that I actually maybe moved up. I think that he might have been a little bit lower in the ETR ranks. But I think I'm willing to, in some drafts, just bet on that offense being a lot better than it was last year, which hard to project for that. And totally reasonable, I think, to rank him a lot lower than where he's going. But if he falls, a little bit, I'm willing to make the bet on Carolina. And that wouldn't be the end. If I get a Philly stack at the top of the board and then back stack it, my second quarterback being Bryce Young, a Carolina team stack, I wouldn't hate that. You got, kind of a projectable high floor in the Eagles, but I think there is some ceiling there in Carolina as well. So I don't kind of hate that, those team pairings of going in on the Carolina stack with the Eagles stack. Where's Jonathan Brooks going now? There's a question. that pick is coming up. So let's see here. 106. I'm not going to take him here. If he falls to me in the next turn, I might do it. All right. My rank. So the ETR loves Tyler Lockett. I don't think I need to reach there yet. I don't feel great about this range of running back here. Brock Bowers falling a little bit, probably reasonably. I could add to the Cleveland stack also with David Njoku. That's kind of a last minute panic decision. To be honest, no huge differentiations for me here. Again, in this whole tier of running backs, I like Zach Moss just fine. I think that he's probably the RB1 there in Cincinnati, although both he and let me move this to 100, minimum 100 targets or 100 touches. Then we'll go back to the draft. I believe both Chase Brown and Zach Moss were near the top here with the top 100 missed tackles forced per touch. Wait, do I have this sorted correctly? Yeah, missed tackles forced per touch. We'll go back to the draft here in just 1 second. Oh, right. I'm looking for Cincinnati and they weren't on, or Zach Moss wasn't on Cincinnati. Okay, maybe I'm just wrong about this. Zach Moss, 21st. Okay, yeah, so he was pretty high up there. I thought Chase Brown was even higher. Maybe he didn't reach the threshold here. Maybe that was at the 50 threshold. Anyway, got to get back to the draft. Let's see what's happening here. I went Zach Moss. Mostert goes. Maybe I should still be just as in on Mostert. It scares me a little bit that they took another running back. He did just sign a pretty big contract, though. It's such a crowded backfield that I don't know what to make of it. I don't know, letting myself get scared off there a little bit on that Dolphins backfield. Yeah, 7th round lad feels rich to me too. It's not that, I can see it. There's certainly an upside case there. Wide receiver 1 in a Justin Herbert offense. That's okay. Not the worst spot to be. But don't love that they're probably going to be running the ball a lot. I thought about taking David Njoku with this pick. Maybe I should have done that because he's probably not coming back to me. Could have continued that Cleveland stack. Another stack that is, I don't know. Don't know what to make of it. It feels like it has upside, though. They've just fallen so far. Big driver goes Njoku. Jameson Williams. Probably not. I'm probably going to be underweight to the field on Jameson Williams. Maybe that's wrong. It's probably his ADP seems fine to me. Just not that excited about it. I feel like he's had his opportunities now and hasn't really done that much with them other than the occasional splash play. But maybe it's just the missed time. Maybe I'm biased because he's missed so much time. Jaylen Warren, I mean, as you saw, Jaylen Warren, the leader in missed tackles forced per touch. He's pretty damn good. And I think that Pittsburgh backfield is valuable. I'm probably going to be drafting a lot of both Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. I just the fact that Jaylen Warren is going, as you can see here, 2 rounds later than Najee Harris, probably just going to be more in on Jaylen Warren because to me it's kind of a coin flip. I don't know. What do you think? Am I wrong about that? Is it not a coin flip? Am I just misreading the backfield? Jalen Benson again. I got to move him up my board because I want to be in on Trey Benson, and I haven't got any shares yet. But the fantasy points guys, Scott and Brett Whitefield did a series of like short videos on prospects, just kind of debating them, and they were both very much in on Trey Benson. I like the landing spot in Arizona, so I really want to be in on there. I think he's just none of the rankings I used have been that high on him, so I'm well below the field currently on Trey Benson, and that's not where I want to be. I want to get, I think, above the field, make the bet on Trey Benson. All right, pick is coming up. another shot at Lockett here if I want him. Not taking 80 Mitchell. Gus Edwards looks good to me. All right, I think here though I'm going to go Jonathan Brooks. Add on to that Carolina stack a little bit. And then if he falls back to me, which isn't a guarantee at the 10-3, but add on to my Philadelphia stack here. Be okay with that. I feel like people that really don't want Dallas Goedert. I was really in on him in early drafts, and then have kind of gone away from him a little bit. But when I already have Jalen Hurts stacking up the Eagles, I would take him here. Otherwise, I could go to Lockett. Got some options here. All right, I think I'm just going to go full Eagles stack here. Got all of the skill guys that you want. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, and Dallas Goedert. Feels good. I feel like I need to have some guests on these streams. If I'm doing 150 of them, can't do them all by myself. I'm going to need other people or I'm going to lose my voice. So let me know who should I have on? Who do you think would be willing to come on and draft some best ball teams with me? This is very fair. Yeah, definitely felt like there were several times last year where it felt like Jalen Warren was taking over and then Najee rose from the dead. So, yeah, I'm not going to lean too hard into it being a 50-50 backfield, but I think it's at least possible. Jaden Daniels at 10-6. Interesting. Is he moving up? Let's see. Yeah, he has moved up a little bit, I think. I guess that's maybe not a huge move up. He had been around this ADP, and then I think he was kind of falling towards the end of the pre-draft best ball drafts. And now I guess he's moved back up now that we know where he is. It's kind of a fun stack. That's another offense. We look for those offenses you don't have to spend a lot on that have huge upside. Washington kind of feels like that team. I feel good taking Terry McLaurin where he's going. At least I do. I think it's a great spot for Terry McLaurin. Jaden Daniels, not all that expensive. Then you can throw in Sinnott in the last pick. You can throw in Jahan Dotson. Like, it's just kind of a fun offense to try and build around. So it would not be a huge shock to see Jaden Daniels continue moving up a little bit. But I don't think he's going to move up that much. I think it's kind of a fair ADP where he is. Huge upside, huge downside. Not a very high floor, I don't think. Mostly just because he feels like he could get injured, like he runs too much for his size. We just kind of worry about injuries there. Feeling good about this draft. I thought my second draft last night didn't feel good about at all, but I kind of like the way this one is going. I feel like I'm making some bets on a couple teams in Philadelphia and Carolina. I like those two teams together. Not getting any kind of like crazy values here. I feel like I've just taking the guys that have come to me right around ADP. Not really scooping up any values here, but still feel good about the construction. Dalton Schultz goes. Is this the guy that has the stack? I think it might be. Yeah, he's got the Stroud stack. Kind of the only reason to reach right now is if you have for Schultz right now is if you have the Stroud stack. Otherwise, probably letting him fall past ADP. All right, my pick is coming up. So here's ADP. Is Josh Downs falling because of Adonai Mitchell? Like, is it just unclear at this point who's the wide receiver 2 there? Because he was going around pick 100 for a while. It's kind of interesting. All right. This is not my favorite section either. Speaking of not loving certain parts of the draft. This doesn't feel great to me. I don't have a ton of Gabe Davis. I feel like they did drop Zay Jones. Yeah, screw it. I'll take a share of Gabe Davis here. It's going to be one of the three receivers that's going to be on the field quite a bit, I would think. Gabe Davis, one of those guys where there are some stats where he looks just like an alpha, and other stats where it's just like, yeah, he's probably not a fantasy player. So probably, there's wide range of outcomes. I think I'm okay with that here. My fifth wide receiver. I could throw Trevor on here. I don't think I need to do that. Who are the ADP? Oh, Jahan Dotson. I don't feel as good about Jahan Dotson when I don't have Jaden Daniels. I've already got two tight ends here, so I don't think I need any more. I guess I could throw on. Don't really like Xavier Legette here. I don't think it's a little bit rich for Xavier Legette. I'll star him up just in case. I'll think about whether I want him here. As my sixth receiver, kind of like Jerome Ford. I think he's pretty good. I think Nick Chubb probably still hurt, so wouldn't hate taking Jerome Ford here. Maybe just because of the stack, I'm just going to do it with Legette. Probably not going to take a lot of him if I'm not already working on a stack. Now we got to figure out what is Bryce Young's ADP. 180. Okay, I think I can wait a bit if I want to finish that stack out. Yeah, can you even imagine, Peter Ovazet? Good to see you here. So far, it is going great. I feel full of energy. I think this is going to be a walk in the park, getting through 150 stream drafts. The nice thing about making the claim that I'm going to be the oldest person to ever do it is there aren't that many people in the space who are older than me. So, like, if anybody else wants to take that throne from me after I steal it, rip it from Pete's hands, people are gonna have to wait a few years before they are over 40 years old to stream their 150 drafts. Of course, Steven, if you wanted to jump in and do 150 drafts, you could take it from me, the oldest person to ever do it. You could take it right now. But I don't think there are that many people older than me drafting 150 teams. I think T-Box could do it, but I think he's more of a daily guy than a best ball guy. Al Smizzle, older than me, could do it if you wanted to, but there's just not that many people older than me in the space for whatever reason. So I can make the claim. Dontavian Wicks, again, I'm high on Dontavian Wicks. That's another thing that I'm going to want to dive into on these streams at one point. Just look at the snap share and the route participation of the Green Bay receivers when everybody is healthy. Because again, I think that it was, more spread out than people are treating Dontavian Wicks like he's the wide receiver 4. I guess not entirely, because he's got to be the first wide receiver 4 drafted, right? Like the fourth receiver on a team. Have to imagine it's Dontavian Wicks by quite a bit. I'm not convinced that he is the wide receiver 4 there. I think it's good offense. So I like where he's going in the drafts. I'm taking a fair bit of Dontavian Wicks. I am going to have on Thursday of this week, Pete's Lowell's partner, Brian Hooper, is going to jump on. We're going to get set up with his draft caddy. Take a look at that. And we're going to draft a team or two together using Brick's draft caddy. So looking forward to that on Thursday. Probably the first time I'll have a guest. I haven't asked anybody to come on tomorrow. I know I talked to Bindles today about coming on at some point. Probably not until next week. Ooh, Vidal up at 13-4. J-Mall is reaching quite a bit. He's a badge bro though. He's got the red badge there. So I don't think he's throwing the draft or anything. Yeah, I mean, other than a few reaches, for the most part, he's drafting, you know, like a sane person. Burrow at 52 felt like a bit of a reach, but again, he has the stack there. Don't hate it. Lad McConkey reached a little bit, but Lad McConkey is also rising in the ranks. Then he did take Justin Herbert, added Gus Edwards on it. I actually don't hate his team, despite a few big reaches. I don't hate the team at all. So good on him for being willing to reach a little bit. Shady, you gonna do it to me? Wait, Shady's only like a year behind me, right? Aren't you almost my age? Yeah. So 2 years from now, Shady's gonna come in and do 150. Stream all 150. Older than me. Jalen Wright. All right. Who do I want here? I wouldn't have hated Jalen Wright there. All right. So I have 3 running backs. I do have 6 receivers and 2 tight ends already. Probably a running back or receiver spot for me. Could throw Chuba on there. Like he also might be the running back early in the year for Carolina. And as I said, I'm more willing this year, I think, to do the tight end handcuff thing, handcuff myself. Gibson, as I noted, looked a lot better than I thought he would in terms of the missed tackles forced per touch. Pretty high up in that metric. Don't hate that. Not going Fryermuth because I already have 2 tight ends. Jay Dennis pushing it with the no tight ends there. That's an ADP faller. Goes with Deshaun Watson. I have an idea for my next pick. We'll see. We'll see if he falls to me. Can you guys name who I'm thinking about taking right now? A player that I'm probably not going to take a lot of in my drafts, but probably makes sense for this particular team. Do you guys have any idea who I might have in mind for my next pick? He took Isaiah Likely. That's interesting. He took Isaiah Likely. I guess he has. That's right. He has Lamar. He had unstacked Lamar, so for him that made sense. If you said Adam Thielen as a player that I'm not going to draft a ton of, but he might make sense for this particular team, you are absolutely correct. Adam Thielen. Come on down. The rare Adam Thielen share for me. Build on to this Carolina stack. Got both top running backs for Carolina. Got 3 Carolina receivers. So really just leaning into Philadelphia and Carolina. It's going to be rough from as a bye week, bro. If it comes out that Philadelphia and Carolina have the same bye week, I'm just going to be so sad. Yeah, good call there. Pitch new. Spot on. All right, I'll throw up the board again. I'm getting better at this. I know we had a complaint early in the stream that I was not showing the board enough. Better than last year when I literally never showed the board and never remember, because when I'm drafting on my own, I don't really look at the board very often. I'm looking just at who's available. I get it. I can see why you would want to get an idea of what everybody else has, that kind of thing. But you can't see all the players at once, so it's kind of hard to do anyway. Getting more in the habit of using the board. I also, when I'm drafting on my own, I'm mostly on my phone, so I just never look at the board. I can see the value to it though on a computer stream. Gibson goes, Jamal Queen. I kind of dig his team, even though there were a couple, pretty big reaches. I think it's coming along nicely. Hunter Henry. Never feel good about the Hunter Henry click. At least I don't. Can't speak for AJG. Maybe he does. Similarly, Kendry Miller. I'm not taking like any Alvin Kamara. I'm also not taking like any Kendry Miller. So that's probably just a leak for me that I'm not taking any of the running backs there. Probably somebody's going to work out, but don't have much there. Fryermuth goes all the way back to the 14th round. Takes him as his third tight end, which can't really blame Big Driver there. When the value comes. J.K. Dobbins came out today and said that he's 100% healthy. So if you believe that, maybe we need to start drafting some J.K. Dobbins. Somebody was in the stream last night asking, is there any chance, I don't remember who was asking, is there any chance that J.K. Dobbins comes in and is the top running back for the Chargers? And I said, I think it's a very small chance, but he's coming out and saying he's healthy. So maybe it's a better chance than I think. RIP all of my Gus Edwards and Kimani Vidal, if that happens. All right, we're coming up. Demario Douglas fallen a little bit in drafts. I saw Herzig. I think he was one of the top fallers today, if I'm remembering right. Tyler Algier, another guy I have trouble. I don't know why. I call myself a zero RB bro, and then I'm like, I don't want any of the RB2s. I think it's just feels early. I don't see much of a difference between Algier and like Izzy Abanikanda, like that kind of, like I just take the later guys when it's like, okay, you're the clear, like there's no path to you becoming the RB1 other than an injury. There's a lot of those guys, and I don't take the ones who go earlier in general. But maybe he has more of a role right away than I think he does. Ray Davis, I don't hate that. Could be the Bills RB2 right away. Ben Sinnott jumping up boards. I know Pete did a video saying that Ben Sinnott is this year's Sam Laporta. Maybe not making that claim, but that's kind of the thinking right now with Ben Sinnott. All right, what's the ADP looking like here? All right, I think I just got to go with my guy Bryce Young, unless there's any great values here. Complete that stack. I don't see anybody that I need to take here. Yeah, I'm just going to complete my stack. Leave Bateman to Jay Dennis. If Stevie does. Who knows if Stevie will cooperate there. I don't know what I want next. I've got 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers. I think I'm done at tight end and quarterback now, probably. Yeah, I don't see anybody else I would take right now. And I feel good about how Stevie takes Rashad Bateman. Sorry, Jay Dennis. And now Jay Dennis is scrambling. You can still take Tez Walker there. Throw him onto your Baltimore stack. As somebody pointed out to me in the draft last night. That was very helpful. Oh yeah, he needed some tight ends there. So not the worst outcome. ADP wise. Man, Drake May fallen. I didn't realize that he was falling so much. I drafted a lot of him in the pre-draft stuff. Could throw Khalil Herbert on there. Hope for a trade or something. A change of situation there for Khalil Herbert. I saw there was some Vikings and Tyler Boyd mutual interest. I drafted very, very little Tyler Boyd in the pre-draft stuff, and I will have some FOMO if he comes to my Vikings and I don't have any. I'll be a little bit sad that I didn't draft more. But Herbert, I think in Chicago he might just have a role as it is. I'm not convinced that Roshan Johnson is necessarily the RB2 there, but then also I think there's a potential change of situation. So I think Herbert probably has a role somewhere this year, and it could improve from where it is right now. Keaton Mitchell, I like that pick. He was the guy who looked good in the missed tackles forced per touch metric. If you didn't see, tomorrow night I'm going to have BP Colonia as my guest on Playing for Keeps. Really excited about that. Really sharp DFS player, despite being like, I want to say 24 years old. I could be wrong about that, but around there. Young guy, really, really good DFS player. So excited to have BP Colonia on Playing for Keeps tomorrow. That'll be the 11th episode, I believe. So look out for that. It's going to be tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Anybody finished their 150 set yet? I haven't seen Jewish McCaffrey in my chat yet, which has been a bit of a shock for me. I imagine it's because he is just so busy doing drafts himself that he doesn't have time to be checking in on streams. Malik Washington in Miami, hadn't even thought about. That's a pretty interesting landing spot. He went late enough that it's hard to get overly excited about it, but at the same time, like that's kind of fun. That's fun. Just a good offense. So I'm sitting at 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Again, probably done at tight end and quarterback, so probably just 2 more, taking wide receivers and running backs with my last 2 picks. Just got a notification that Dua Lipa is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live. Count me in. I'll be watching that. Yeah, that's he's a young guy, and I've had one young guy on the stream already in JMB, who is also 24, as I recall. Young guy's taking over. Young guy's taking over. Although Shady is an old guy like me. Another up and coming player, despite being not a young gun. Damian Pierce, I'm struggling. I can't do it with Damian Pierce. I'm probably wrong. They didn't really add anybody in Houston. So he's probably the RB2 there, and I'm not giving him enough credit. Just does not feel fun after not having a great year last year. Will Shipley, I was kind of hoping Will Shipley was going to fall to me. I'm not sure if I need another running back, but Will Shipley would be, add him onto was hoping to add him onto my Eagles stack. Again, a guy that I've heard very mixed things about. Some people very high on him, some people very low on him. But when you can add a guy like that to your stack, I think that's the best time to do it. Luke McCaffrey. All right, Bo Nix goes in the 17th round. I think that is a strong pick for Cho Deasy. Does he have a stack here? Yeah, he's got Troy Franklin. Nice. He's got a kind of a fun team. Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, Bo Nix. Does he have any Pittsburgh receivers, or is that just like a needed a quarterback kind of thing? Yeah, I don't think he has anybody from Pittsburgh, but I've done that. I don't often take a quarterback where I'm not. Oh god, I'm on the clock and didn't even realize it. Okay, ADP. All right, doing Treylon Burks. Think I've got enough receivers. Maybe go running back for my next pick. Man, Drake May is still there. Almost would have thought about taking Drake May there. I'm not upset that I didn't get him, but it's just that's a great value, I think, where he's going. Sign me up. All right, Garendo. Again, I think Nick Chubb still kind of hurts, so I could do Deontay Foreman. Could throw Gainwell onto my Philadelphia stack. Still might be the wide receiver, the running back 2 there. Miles Sanders. I think, let's see, who do I want? Braylon Allen on the Jets, Estime, and Correndo. He's kind of fun. Could be the running back 2 in San Francisco. I think he's a fun pick for an 18th rounder. Also couldn't draft him in any of the pre-draft stuff. Are you a physicist, Brandon? It's impressive. Yeah, I wonder how many physicists there are in the DFS best ball streets. I would guess not a ton, and I think you're right. I would guess that the physicists who are in this space probably pretty good at it. Astro Maine gets Drake May. Is it his third quarterback? Just a great value. Does he have a stack there, or is it just a value hound? Just a value hound. Again, no issue with that. When you get him at that great of a value, and there is a lot of upside there, yeah, not a bad pick at all. Oh, I could have added on Sanders to my Carolina stack. Joe Deasy. That's good. That's a good pick there. Another one of those tight ends who could be the second best tight end in the class. Who knows? But would have made sense for my team if I wanted a third tight end. But I, spent a good amount on my 2 tight ends, so I'm good. I'm good with just 2 tight ends. Eric All goes. J-Mall adds him onto his stack. Bourne. Tyrone Tracy went. I don't have any shares of Tyrone Tracy. I know there are some people who are very high on him, so maybe I need to draft him a little bit more, move him up into my rankings, because he's one of those guys I haven't even seen him, don't even think about drafting him. So might want to move him up in my rankings just to get a little exposure. Glad to see Jay Dennis was able to get Tez Walker at the turn. And who is going to be Mr. Irrelevant for this draft? I think it was Jalen McMillan. Let's see. Jalen McMillan was Mr. Irrelevant in that draft. Not part of a stack, but good pick for a last pick. Anybody else's teams that you guys want me to look at? I'll go over my team real quick. My team: Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young at quarterback. We got Saquon Barkley, Zach Moss, Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard, Khalil Herbert, and Isaac Guerrero as my 6 running backs. I then took 9 wide receivers. We did start with the 2 Eagles in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Treylon Burks, and then my 2 tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, and then threw Dallas Goedert onto that Philadelphia stack. I feel pretty good about that team. It's not, not like an incredibly good team, but if Philadelphia and or Carolina surprises this year, it could be a really, really strong team. I like the correlations. I feel like I made some full-on team bets, so I feel good from that perspective. Anybody else? Oh, Astroman, good to see you in chat. Brandon's a computer science guy. Yeah, a lot of computer science guys in here as well. Would have gone McMillan at wide receiver if I didn't scoop May. Yeah, McMillan, strong pick. Yeah, nice draft there for you, Astroming. I liked a lot of the picks that you were making. Actually, we can take a look at Astroming's team. And I suppose it's easier if I just click on them here. Pick before me. Yeah, Astroming gets Richardson. So Richardson with Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs. That's strong. Stafford with Puka Nacua and late round DeMarcus Robinson. I saw Winky Christ did a little post about DeMarcus Robinson, about how it's kind of insane that DeMarcus Robinson is going so late. I think he's probably right. DeMarcus Robinson probably a little bit undervalued where he is going. And I say that as somebody who has not drafted him a ton. I did take him some pre-draft stuff because I kind of saw that like he was so good at the end of last year, and they didn't really add anybody to the mix. So DeMarcus Robinson, definitely a strong late round pick like that. And then the unstacked Drake May, I believe, just as a late round quarterback value, which can work out. Yeah, this looks like a pretty strong team here. Obviously, strong quarterbacks with Anthony Richardson and 3 total: Matthew Stafford, Drake May, Joe Mixon, Raheem Mostert, Brian Robinson Jr., Jalen Wright, Jaleel McLaughlin, Keaton Mitchell. I think those are some strong running backs with pretty high floor and high upside mixed in there. Puka, Drake London, Tank Dell. Still haven't heard what's going on with Tank Dell. Hopefully he's okay. JSN, Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs, Marcus Robinson, and then Sam Laporta, Kate Otten. Looks like a strong team there for Astro Mang. I'm going to do one more draft here. If you guys want to jump in with me, I am about to go enter it. So went to drafts, Best Ball Mania 5, and we are going in now. All right, you've got your opportunity now. Not all the way full. So hopefully some of you will draft along with me again. All right, we get the 108 now. So it was the 110 last time. Now we get the 108. Any of you in here? I see Paul is in here. I was inverted. I don't think I recognize a lot of these names. Anybody watching in this draft with me? We do have a lot of badges here, which I guess is not a shock that a lot of people with badges are drafting in late April. Not a huge shock there. Let's see if we go chalk again. We're going to go, I think last draft went straight down the line. McCaffrey, well, by ADP it was McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, Chase. I don't remember what went 5th overall last time. I do know that I got AJ Brown with the 10th pick, which is just as expected. McCaffrey 101. Lamb number 2. We're going chalk. And to be clear, in this case, not disparaging chalk. This is those are my 1 and 2 picks too. Because if you're trying to spread out your exposure, like, kind of makes sense to just in the first round take the guys as they come. I'll take some. Actually, generally starting with the 3rd pick. Sometimes I'll take Jamar Chase, maybe Justin Jefferson with the 3rd pick. But most of the time I'm taking Tyreek Hill there, just trying to spread out exposures a little bit. All right, Paul is in the draft. Paul is watching the stream while drafting. Good to see you, Paul. Yeah, we're going chalk here. Actually, Jefferson, that might have been, I think Paul might have reached ahead of ADP for Jefferson. I feel like he goes behind Bijan, generally. All right, do I take one of these running backs? Am I an anchor RB bro, or do I go Puka? That is the question. I think I'm just going to go anchor running back here. Breece Hall. Haven't done it yet. Let's do it. Breece Hall, anchor running back. I think I clicked this by accident, ANS Comedy, but yeah, he was the wide receiver. I think Paul is correct that he was the wide receiver 1 last year. So that's why CeeDee Lamb is going so high. It's a good offense, pretty strong, pretty high floor, I would say, for CeeDee Lamb. And, as we saw last year, he was the wide receiver 1. So high ceiling as well. I think it's fair. I think it's just fine. Updog thinks CeeDee Lamb is a fake alpha. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I gotta hang on 1 second. I'm gonna put the board on here. We are coming back around to me. Okay. Neil says JJ is flipping Bijan most likely today. Gotcha. Yeah, it'll be fun to track this data as it comes. All right. I already got one receiver. I got Olave next. Could go Debo, Ayuk. Yeah, I'm just going Olave. Yeah, definitely not taking a second round running back after already taking Brees. I probably I'll do it at some point. Like I'll start strong, go full T at some point, but not this draft. For now, and honestly, this wouldn't have been the worst place to do it, where I have to take Chris Olave far ahead of ADP to take wide receiver to start. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Olave in the second round. Again, I think this is just kind of a gross part of the draft that I'm not too excited about. So I'll take Olave. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, what do we think the quarterback situation was going to be? Did the quarterback situation get better for Jay Jets after they drafted JJ McCarthy? Because in my mind, it didn't really change. Like, he's either going to have Sam Darnold throwing him the ball, or he's going to have a rookie quarterback throwing him the ball. And I don't feel that strongly about outside of Caleb Williams. I don't feel that strongly about like which quarterback is the one I want throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. So to me, the situation hasn't really changed after JJ McCarthy. I guess I also kind of thought the Vikings were going to get JJ McCarthy all along. I'm also not convinced that JJ McCarthy starts right away. I think Sam Darnold is getting $10 million next year. Now, I think and I hope that part of the reason the Vikings were willing to give Sam Darnold $10 million for a year is because they know him and they think he's going to be a good mentor for a rookie quarterback. So maybe they're just paying him good money to be like both the backup and the mentor. And it is JJ right away. But I'm not sure about that. Oh, okay. All right, up dog. CD fan. Yeah, CD. He's good. He's good. Had this conversation with some friends of mine as we were watching the draft, talking about some of the best draft moments or the most memorable moments in past NFL drafts. And one of them was for me was JJ McCarthy grabbing the phone away, or JJ McCarthy's presumably girlfriend taking a phone off his lap, and he snatches it away from her. And I always thought that is his phone. Like she was looking at his phone, and he grabbed it away from her. My friend thought, and this is would be a lot more malicious. He thought that it was her phone and that he was controlling his girlfriend's phone, which that never even crossed my mind that it might have been her phone. I thought it was just JJ McCarthy's using somebody else's phone. He has his phone on his lap, and she was, trying to look at his messages, and he wasn't allowing her to do that. What do you guys think? How did you interpret the CD Lamb grabbing the phone away from his girlfriend at the draft? Because I thought it was just his own phone that he didn't want her looking at. Say it ain't so. That's not true. No, he's going to be great. He's going to be amazing. Guys, stop this, please. You are hurting my feelings right now. As somebody who does not watch college football, I'm just counting on all the people who are really high on McCarthy to be right. He's young, I think there's promise there. And he's got a phenomenal mentor in Sam Darnold. Hayes goes for Jay Hurts. All right. Unstacked. That's interesting. Taking an unstacked Jalen Hurts that early. All right. I will throw the board up here again after I make my next pick. So we got Hall. We got Chris Olave. Take one of DJ Moore or Stephon Diggs. I don't feel that strongly about which one I want. DJ Moore goes, so Stephon Diggs it is. I think it's unclear to me who is the wide receiver one in Houston. I don't know. I know other people have strong opinions that it's still Nico is the wide receiver one. I think that any one of those three could be the wide receiver one. I think it's very much a toss up in my opinion. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a risk in my opinion that he does not play a ton. And actually, I drafted him a good amount in the pre-draft stuff, but the fact that he wasn't taken, like there were at the time that I was drafting him, there were rumors that he was going to be like the third overall pick. In which case, it would have, to me, it would have been more likely that they're going to play him if they had to reach and get him as a third overall pick. since he actually fell down to the 10th pick. I think it's maybe, I don't know if that's a completely wrong read on the situation, but it seems to me like there's a little bit more risk that he just doesn't play right away. Kelsey, a guy that I'm not drafting a ton of, and I'm probably dumb to not take a lot of Travis Kelsey. Um, I have concerns that they're just not going to use him in the regular season again. All right, I've got Diggs. Hopefully Dell is okay. Oh man, CJ Stroud is up to a 43 ADP. I was thinking I'm going to throw on CJ Stroud onto the stack. Now there's no way he comes back to me. I still think I might do Dell. But yeah, that's did not realize that CJ Stroud has moved up so far. He used to be like, you could always get him kind of late 50s. And now it's looking like that is not the case. Probably not coming back around to me. Although who has Nico? Yeah, Alex will probably take CJ Stroud either here or with his next pick. So that's kind of rough. I've got 3 receivers. I don't want the quarterback with either of them, really. So don't love that, but it's all right. We'll make something work. Yeah, JJ squared. That's the most important thing. We can say JJ squared all the time. No, Jerome. We had this conversation yesterday. Somebody was asking, and somebody in chat said that last year it was like today is when they dropped it last year. But apparently a couple years ago it was like the day after they released the schedule. So maybe DraftKings just waiting for the NFL to release the schedule, which will be I think next week. But unclear. And anytime within the next week, I would guess. But yeah, don't know for sure. Yeah, it is a pretty high ADP for Tank Dell, and I just took him there, and then realized that probably not going to be able to pair the quarterback, which I don't love, but still, kind of a little bit of team correlation, making a bet on the Texans here in Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. 56, Dalton Kincaid, man. Now this is an alpha start to a draft here. You got 4 running backs and a tight end, not falling for this wide receiver trap. Chowder, a true zero wide receiver, bro. Pacheco. Lamar Flowers at the 3-4 turn. Don't hate that. I think it makes sense. I think that's I'm going to be overweight, I think, to Baltimore. Certainly to Lamar, where he's gone. Did all the tight ends go? I think all the top tight ends. I guess could still get Kyle Pitts here, potentially. Mahomes and Rashee Rice is still there. Keaton goes Rashee Rice. All right. What is Mike C going to do? I feel like I know what I'm doing with this next pick. Good. All right. He left me both of the options I wanted, but I think with CJ Stroud falling to me here in the late 5th round, I'm going to jump on that value. So I was able to complete the stack. Thank you for being a very kind board, very kind room to let me add on a 3rd Houston, add on CJ Stroud, complete the stack there. All right. Throw the board back up there. Bob able to complete a Kelsey Mahomes stack. Looking good. All right, let's see here. JJ is the QB in the best position. I mean, yeah, if he does start for the Vikings right away, like that is an elite landing spot for a rookie quarterback for sure. What was with T Higgins? You're right. I think he was a second or third. I mean, that's true of so many players this year, though. Like Mark Andrews, same thing. Like he's fallen so much later than he was going. Um, Feels like a lot of players are falling way later than they were last year, and they seem like they're still really strong bets. Terry McLaurin, he would have been a pick that I would have considered for sure. With everybody jumping on so many running backs early, I guess I got my anchor RB, so I feel good about that at least. Adds on Marquise Brown to that Kansas City stack, looking like a nice team there for Boy Blanco. Boy Blanco. I think I missed the I there earlier. Boy Blanco. It's like a white skater boy is how I'm reading that. All right, Kyle Pitts, come on down. Right? I don't see any. Yeah, I'm not missing anything. I like Kyle Pitts quite a bit this year. Liked him better when I could draft him in the 7th round in early drafts, but I'm willing to take him here. I like the quarterback upgrade there, coaching upgrade. I think it's a good spot for Kyle Pitts this year. Paul Hurd Friday for DraftKings, nothing official. Tez Walker, yeah, I've been in on Rashad Bateman all offseason. I remain in on Rashad Bateman where he's going, but if I have Lamar and things don't go how I want them to as far as stacking partners falling to me, I'm perfectly happy to add on Tez Walker as a late round stacking partner. Mike C reaches a little bit for Evan Ingram, but I think that's a solid pick there. Pick 66. Saw so many targets last year. Chowder, I dare you to take 2 more running backs here. You don't need wide receivers. Everybody else wants to take wide receivers. You don't need them. I think he's going to find that it's pretty gross taking wide receivers if you don't take any early. I guess these aren't the worst options. He does have Jordan Addison available there. Brian Thomas goes 1 pick before him. Oh man, he's still not taking wide receivers. Okay. There he goes. He does do a stack here. So got Jordan Love with Christian Watson. He is stacking his team. And he's got Josh Jacobs as part of the Green Bay stack. So just going to be a unique build there for Chowder. Yeah, I like drafting all throughout the offseason. You get kind of different looks depending on your teams look a little bit different depending on when you draft. So I like getting started early and just going all the way through September. I'm with you. I think not a bandwagoner. I want to be in on Mahomes this year too. He doesn't run as much as the early running backs. The early quarterbacks. But I do think like Mahomes, the receiving core is going to be better this year. They might put up a lot more points this year than they did last year. So I'm in on Mahomes again. Where he's going in drafts. I feel like the wide receiving room just got a huge upgrade. I mean, it was Rashee Rice came on, but like they weren't early in the year. He wasn't, that used. I know he scored a touchdown in the first game of the year, but in general, he wasn't like really a thing until later in the year. It wasn't very clear that he was the best wide receiver there. But now you throw in Xavier Worthy, you throw in Marquise Brown. I think that's just a big upgrade for that receiving room. I could be totally wrong as somebody who bought in on Sky Moore. All right, let's see. I don't think I can take DeAndre Hopkins over Jordan Addison. Love them both. But Addison, that's my guy when he's fallen in ADP. Whereas DeAndre Hopkins, you can kind of always get him. Like Addison, not always available at pick 80. I feel like Hopkins is most of the time. So happy with that pick. I don't feel great about the. I think this is a situation where later on in the year we might have a much clearer picture of the Vikings. Like if we find out in August that JJ McCarthy is going to be the week 1 starter, I'm buying. I'm going to be buying so much JJ McCarthy at that point. Whereas Sam Darnold, like right now, I feel like there's a possibility that he's undervalued because he might just be the Vikings quarterback this year. I think and if he is, like he should be drafted. If he's the Vikings quarterback, throw into Jets and Addison, and then Hawkinson coming back later in the year. He should be drafted if he's going to be. I don't think anybody's really expecting that, and I'm not expecting it either. So, have a hard time drafting Sam Darnold right now. I think there's a kind of a wide range of outcomes for what happens with the Vikings quarterbacks and what is going to happen, like as far as the news between now and the start of the season. All right, Mostert goes. We're going on a little bit of a running back run here. Montgomery, Connor, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert. See, this is what I'm talking about with this like kind of string of running backs. I just don't feel like any of these guys, like I don't think there's a huge tier gap. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like even Mixon, I think I like Mixon the best of what I consider this tier to be. But I don't, I'm not that much more excited about Mixon. I would have liked him in my Houston stack, I suppose. Should have thought about that. I don't think I even considered him at 65. Could have considered him there. But like Ramondre Stevenson, I like him just as much as Mostert, Najee Harris, these other guys. Yeah, I think I just go there. Jalen Warren, same thing. Like I don't see a big gap here in these running backs, which is why I'm largely a 0 RB bro. I think there's just a big string of running backs that have a similar range of outcomes. Jalen Warren, Ramondre Stevenson, flip a coin in my opinion. Najee Harris, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary. I could be way wrong. I'm sure a lot of people think that I'm way wrong about this running back group, this tier from like the 5th round through the 10th round. Heard Brick say that most people are better off not maxing DFS tournaments. Do you feel that's the same for BBM? Yeah, for sure. Like I don't think as far as like EV goes, this is a contest with 600,000 people. I would not draft BBM expecting to make money. Like I think this is one of those contests that it's so fun. Most people, even if you're the best player in the world, you're probably not going to end up making much money over your lifetime in Best Ball Mania because it's just such an enormous contest. The variance is so high. I do think it's softer than DFS, so maybe there are paths to making money even if you aren't making a ton of money by doing really well in the finals. But yeah, I think he's probably, and I say that as somebody who's very much going to be drafting all 150. You gotta know, like you're probably not making money here. But as I said, it is soft. If you're good at drafting, you are going to have a big edge on the field. You're going to have better odds than 1 in or 150 in 600,000 to win the whole thing. Because there are a lot of teams that are just dead the minute they're drafted. I really got to move Trey Benson up my draft list because again, I wasn't even thinking about it, and then I see him drafted, and I'm like, damn it, I wanted Trey Benson. All right, let's see. 104. I know we're well past the pick where ETR thinks I should draft him. Tony Pollard, another one of those running backs who I think is just in the same tier as everyone else. Curtis Samuel, kind of fun. Nah, I'm doing Pollard. Maybe not. Yeah, got him. Got him. Mostly because I see a lot of receivers that I like here and not a ton of running backs. I guess Singletary kind of the same as Pollard to me. Chase Brown too. Tajay not far behind. so I guess there were running back options there for me. But I kind of think Lockett, Cortland Sutton could take him and throw on a Bo Nix late stack. Curtis Samuel also in that tier for me. Whatever. I'm good with where I am. I think this is strong enough start. Josh Palmer, man, they are just ETR is high on Josh Palmer apparently. Unless I did that. It's possible that I moved him around by accident. Jacoby Myers. There's rumors that Devontae Adams could be traded to Pittsburgh. It might be on the trade block. If he does, then Jacoby Myers skyrockets. I know that they got Brock Bowers, but still, Jacoby Myers suddenly could be the wide receiver one in Las Vegas. Sutton goes. So I take the. I guess I'll take the value on Tyler Lockett here. I think. I could throw Dalton Schultz onto the stack, but I think he's the third pass catching option there. If he comes back around, I'll throw him on. All right. Wait. Can anyone pass on CMC if you already have a lot of him and you're lucky enough to keep getting pick one? And Joseph says that he did, and he's a 49ers fan. Yeah, I think that if you have a lot of CMC, I do like. I think running backs are more at risk of being hurt than receivers are in general. So if you're only doing 10 drafts and you've got 5 shares of CMC and it's your 10th draft, I think it's totally reasonable to spread out your exposure there. Man, came so close to being able to get Trey Benson. But even if I don't know if I would have, because I don't know where I have him in the rankings currently. I really need to move him up the rankings because yeah, he's one of I moved up a lot of guys in the rankings, guys that I want to target. I don't know that I remember to do so with Trey Benson. Yeah, I mean CMC, I think I'm generally going to be taking CMC as the 101. Like you want to have exposure to CMC. He's so good. He's in such a great spot. It's pretty clear slam dunk there. Don't want to just miss out on him. All right. Yeah, Chowder now turning around, throwing on a lot of wide receivers. So making up for the 0 wide receiver start with Christian Watson, Coleman, Dobbs, and Jacoby Myers. He is still stacking also through on the Dobbs to the Green Bay stack there. Mac goes Trevor Lawrence. Gabe Davis double click. Hayes, does he have Herbert? No. Does Gus Edwards, Josh Palmer? For the most part, it looks like we have people, stacking, drafting rationally here. I'm coming up next. Man, Purdy's fallen quite a bit. I don't think I have anybody from San Francisco. But man, that is a late pick for Purdy. Oh, Schultz fell to me. All right, I'll do it. Got my second tight end. Also was tempted by Rashid Shaheed there, Jerry Jeudy, Troy Franklin. I do think there's some strong picks to take here. Jahan Dotson. Also, now I kind of want to see, like, is it a normal thing for Drake May to fall so far like he did in the last draft? Because I'm still willing to take some late round Drake May. I mean, he was going at pick 150-ish, and I liked him at pick 150-ish in the pre-draft stuff. If he's going to fall a ton, I'm willing to bet on New England a little bit, make a not very expensive bet. How many of you in chat are going to max this out? Is this a common thing? I think it seemed like we had, I know we had like at least 150, 200. Might have been more than that. Maybe it was 300 or so. I don't know. I did not max out the contest last year. Got to 120 drafts before it closed. This year we're maxing it. Don't know what I'm doing with my next pick. I'll show you the board after I make the pick. Pearsall, a guy that I think I actually moved up my rankings. Dontavian Wick's a guy I know I moved up my rankings from where ETR had him. Just high on Dontavian Wicks this year. All right, I'm gonna do Troy Franklin. Cortland Sutton, another name who's been thrown around in trade rumors. So Troy Franklin might be in a good spot. Might be the top receiver in Denver potentially year one. I know it didn't look great at the combine, but yeah, I'm happy with the risk there for Troy Franklin. The range of outcomes. Oh yeah, I got to throw the board back up here. Marshawn Lloyd, I feel like is strong. I don't hate the landing spot on the Packers. Clearly not going to be the running back one to start, but I've seen people speculating on Twitter. I think maybe it was Derek Brown. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Derek Brown. That Josh Jacobs was not that great last year. They did just give him a lot of money, so he's probably got a little bit of rope there. But Marshawn Lloyd might just be better and maybe earns more touches than we expect right away. Oh man, I did not even. I forgot that I have Kyle Pitts. That would have been a good call for me. Oh well. Paul not maxing this year. Paul, what do you think of the payout structure? I don't think we've talked about it. Do you like the new format for Best Ball Mania? Yep, splitting Underdog and DK makes sense. Jerome maxing all four. Damn. BBM Puppy and 2 of the DKs. Yeah, I might max out DK this year too. I'm not sure. Not streaming all those. So got to have something that I can stream outside of or that I can draft outside of streams. Maybe I'll do that with DK. Maybe just puppies and stuff. Probably a mix. Yeah, Paul, I'm falling more and more in love with playoff contests. The NBA playoff best ball is so fun right now. We'll see if I'm disillusioned after the first round when, the Clippers Mavs go 7 games and knock all my teams out. But I do love me some playoff best ball. More likely to. I've just been so bad at drafters. I don't know what it is. Probably just I don't change my mindset enough from my drafts on Underdog. Like I'm not making enough alterations there, but it could just be bad luck too. Like I don't draft that much on drafters relative to other sites, so it's also more just I could just be having bad luck with drafters. But yeah, has not been great for me. Yeah, DK roll for DFS. Makes sense. Yeah, I've been getting, and I still love DFS, but getting more and more into best ball. Oh, am I on the clock? I am on the clock. Oh, Kirk falls to me. Love it. All right. I'm watching on the screen and it does not always update in real time. So then I go back to my or I'm watching in StreamYard, and then I go back to the draft, and I realize that I am on the clock sometimes when I don't realize I am. I love that though. Happy to get the Falcon stack at pick 152 for Kirk. Throw him on the Kyle Pitts stack. That feels good. I have not found drafters to be softer than DraftKings. I don't know if anybody else disagrees, but it's cumulative scoring. If you're not sure, Ben, if you're not familiar, it's not there's no playoffs for drafters, so it's just a completely different structure. Oh, Paul loves the new format. Was not a fan of the regular season prizes. Yeah, I know. I was listening to Spags' stream this morning. I know he likes that there's no regular season prizes, and I get it. Like it is, I agree that it makes it tougher. Like to you're drafting for one specific format for the week 17 prizes, and then there's just this offshoot taking money away from that. I don't know. To me, there's something fun about the um like you even though you're drafting for the playoffs for week 17, there's something fun about just like if you have a team that is destroying the regular season, it's always like there's a little bit of pain and like, oh my god, this team is scoring so many points and I get nothing for that. It doesn't matter because it can die in the playoffs just like regular season. So I enjoyed the regular season prizes, but I'm also not upset about the change to the scoring format overall. I'm not at least not that upset about it. Like I think it's kind of cool the way things are set up now. Overall, love the flatter payout structure. All right, we get Darnell Mooney, can throw him onto the Atlanta stack is probably the way I'm going here. Just taking a look. Yeah, could have gone Marvin Mims, try to do a Denver stack, but at this point, I've got Stroud and Cousins. Might just be all set there at quarterback. So up to 7 receivers now. I feel like they're pretty good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a not right now. This is going to be my final draft of the day. Then I got to go mentally prepare myself to be an ace on the mound of my beer league softball team. But yeah, we should definitely do a draft together at some point. Ben, um, did the draft get paused? Let's see. No, it's good now. It's good now. Might have just been my stream. Thank you, Paul. Paul did try to warn me that I was on the clock. Thankfully, I figured it out in time to make my pick. Yeah, that was really nice to have Kirk because I think you were right. Like pitch, I should have taken him with my prior pick before that big gap there. So pretty lucky that he fell to me, and then got Darnell Mooney right at ADP, but nice to add him onto the stack. I've never done FFPC. Maybe I'll try it this year. I know a lot of people are really into it. I'm not familiar, I don't think, with RT Sports. What does that stand for? Or is that just it? I don't think I've ever heard of RT Sports. Now I'm going back and forth pretty constantly to make sure I'm not missing my pick here. Yeah, this is a good call, Jerome. I think you're right here that it's probably sharper on drafters because it's the most serious players. I this is a high T room, Bindles. We are not pissing. We are taking running backs. We're a zero wide receiver room. Check out the. I'll show you the 101 in a second. 10th in the regular season last year. That's I remember you actually. He's Sandark now. Yeah, that's it's gonna be it's gonna be different this year with no regular season. But if you finish 10th in the playoff in the regular format last year, like you would love this new format because there's a lot more money going to 10th in the week 17. Again, I think it's going to be so fun for anybody who gets to the finals this year. It's going to be just like massively fun to be in the finals this year. All right, who do we want here? Probably a running back. Man, this is not a great spot for running backs, though. Do I reach for Vidal? I could reach for Vidal. Keaton Mitchell. Gorendo, Will Shipley. All right, I'm going Vidal. I guess I could have taken Mims there. Kind of fell pretty far past ADP. But I feel a lot better about my receivers than my running backs in general. I feel okay about my running backs, but I need more help at running back after those four. Whereas wide receiver, I feel like is pretty strong. Tyler Lockett, even though I got him at ADP, I think, as we saw, ETR has him ranked way, way ahead of pick 113. So I think that he's a strong wide receiver 5. I like Roy Franklin, Darnell Mooney, decent enough for a 7th receiver. Whereas running back, I got the hero RB to start with Brees Hall, and then haven't spent a ton outside of that. Zay Jones, I have no thoughts on where he might fall. All right, I'll make my next pick before I get back to the comments. I guess I could take Braylon Allen too. Do the handcuff thing. Eli Mitchell, do we think he's still the RB2 ahead of Gorendo? Could always take this year's Sam Laporta. Unstacked as my tight end 3 is probably not the time to take Ben Sinnott. But I am a little bit nervous that he's going to shoot up boards now that people are doing content on it, and I won't have opportunities later. I still think for this room though, I'm good at tight end, so I think I go Keaton Mitchell. There's a lot of ways it could have gone there. All right, I'm going to throw the board back up there. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you the 101. So we're talking about, are we pissing in here? No, look at this 101. Look at the alpha here. Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Dalton Kincaid, Joe Mixon, Jordan Love. Doesn't take a wide receiver until the 7th round. This is not a piss boy room. We're all over the board, to be honest. We got other people who started, 4 wide receivers. Any true? No, nobody started with like 6 receivers in this room. 4 to start in the first 4 rounds is the most we got of anybody, and just one who took 4 in the first 4 rounds. So this is very much not a piss boy room. Paul goes with Ben Sinnott. That's a good pick there. Oh, and he threw him on the stack. So I would have been sniping Paul if I had taken Ben Sinnott there. I like that. Yeah, it's true, Paul. Kirk was next up on the list, so it would have autoed him. Real Time Sports is RTS Sports. Okay. Yeah, never heard of it. Have not drafted it. I mean, they do have the $500 buy-in contest in the lobby. I guess it's not BBM, but I don't know. What's the difference? Now that there's no regular season prizes, is there any difference other than like payout structure? I don't know. It's kind of the same thing, I think. Let me check out where I am. All right, a few more picks until my pick. Oh, you mean with the? I guess the top prize being so high. I guess that's like DK with the 555 milli. I guess that would be the difference. 3 quarterbacks for Chowder, so his wide receiver room is he's got 7 receivers. Christian Watson and Keon Coleman, the top 2. I don't know. It's risky. It's a risky approach, I'd say. I got 2 more picks here. I think I'm good at tight end and quarterback. Probably just taking running backs and wide receivers here. Kate Otten falling quite a bit. Mike C goes Demarcus Robinson. Was just talking about how I think he's a good pick. I think that's a solid pick there. Did get Braylon Allen to fall all the way back down to pick 200. I think that's a good spot for him. So he might be falling now. Maybe people don't love the Jets landing spot, but I'll handcuff Breece Hall there. A. Robinson goes Bo Nix. Got that Denver stack going. Looks good. So now I've got 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Probably a wide receiver with his next pick. Anybody with enough upside to break into this group? I think so. I think we got some upside receivers here. Yeah, that's rough. Would have been his buddy, would have made $100K more with the new structure than he made last year, getting 15th in Best Ball Mania 4. All right, we are coming up on. I'm the next pick here. So, is Zay Jones, is he draftable now? Or is he like? Do we think he goes anywhere and becomes like could have more opportunity somewhere else potentially? Houston, Atlanta. Let's see here. Rondell Moore. Add on to that Atlanta stack. Don't love Noah Brown quite as much now. Johnny Wilson sort of interesting. Ooh, Brendan Rice. I went Brendan Rice late. Just, he could be good. I don't know if you know, but his dad is Jerry Rice. I have not drafted a ton of him, but just thinking about it, like, okay, we're all sure that Ladd McConkey is going to be the wide receiver 1 now for the Chargers. Who's to say Brendan Rice isn't in the mix there? And he, prior to the draft, we thought he's got some upside. Now he goes to the Chargers. It's a nice landing spot. I don't hate it as an 18th round pick. Maybe I should have just added Rondell Moore onto my stack. But I've done that. I've done that enough. Don't have a lot of Brendan Rice. I think he's kind of a fun pick there. BKS says, yes, I agree. It's a way better payout structure. Hard to argue against it. Interested in how it may affect the quality of drafts with everyone keeping their eye on playoffs only now, as it should be. Yeah, I think that is a good point. Like the drafting might be just better. You might not see the Justin McMahon doing the 150 auto drafted, hoping for the regular season payout. I don't know how many people that might have been just a Justin thing, but I'm not sure. Maybe you'll have there's less of an opportunity that we're going to have more people doing that this year. I don't think I played the Mastiff last year. What was that one? Was that a high stakes? I forget. I might have played it. I don't think I did though. All right, let's see. Let's go check out this draft. So I ended with at quarterback, CJ Stroud and Kirk Cousins. At running back, Breece Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Kamani Vidal, Keaton Mitchell, and Braylon Allen. At wide receiver, we got Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, Tyler Lockett, Troy Franklin, Darnell Mooney, and Brendan Rice. And then at tight end, Kyle Pitts and Dalton Schultz. I think it's an okay team. I think it's better than the second team I drafted last night. It's definitely better than that team. I don't think that I have any teams yet that I'm like, this is a slam dunk. This is my favorite team I've ever drafted. But I do feel like these have been pretty solid teams overall. I thought the first one that I did today with the full Eagles stack was kind of fun. This is a little bit different. It's kind of actually this one, I did get CD Stroud to fall to me, which is something that you were able to do a little bit more in The pre-draft stuff, you're able to full on, do that. You could actually draft all three Houston receivers along with CJ Stroud if you wanted to. I think it's going to be more rare. If CJ Stroud continues to rise up, he continues to go early 40s, it could be kind of rare to get him with two receivers unless you reach on all three. So, yeah, it's kind of a fun draft, I think. We can look at anybody else's if you want to as well. Let's see. I think I had some comments. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if there's ADP shifts in high and low stakes as well. Good question for Clint. He says, for those of us that don't hop in until July, what are the top three most surprising ADPs right now or trends? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at ADPs. So if I go in and sort by ADP, can I do that from within this room? Let's see. Players. Maybe if I go to rankings. Because they're also moving pretty quickly right now, so I don't know that it's particularly meaningful, the ADPs. Can I sort by ADP in the rankings? I don't know that I can. But I can scroll down here and take a look. Saquon going as high as he is pretty surprising to me, even though I did draft him in the first one here. I think Saquon early second round just feels pretty high. But again, Kyron got a little bit worse, his situation. So there aren't that many running backs that you do feel that great about. I saw Hayden Winks noted on Twitter today that he thinks that all of the Chicago receivers are going like around too early, which I think is probably true. We're spending a little bit too much on DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. The gap for me between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is kind of surprising. It kind of felt like Chris Godwin was like sort of 1A, 1B at the end of the year last year. Like those two were, in my opinion, sort of interchangeable. So the fact that there is kind of a huge gap between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, a little bit of surprise to me. Yeah, Henry and Josh Jacobs have moved way up. I wouldn't say that's surprising though. I guess this range is kind of surprising to me. So somebody noted T. Higgins has fallen quite a bit. Surprises me a little bit. But the big surprise to me is the tight ends here. Mark Andrews with an ADP of 54 is just that's pretty surprising to me. Trey McBride, a little bit less surprising, but still feels like he's going a little bit lower than he should. Travis Kelce, a lot of people would say the same thing. I have more concerns about Travis Kelce just from the standpoint of not convinced they're going to use him that much in the regular season next year. I think they might do what they did this year, where it's just yep, save him for the playoffs. So I think that there is his ADP kind of reflects the risk there for Travis Kelce. So I think it's kind of a fair ADP, but clearly the upside is there. If they don't do that again this year, maybe next year they need him down the stretch, and maybe he is a full-time player in the fantasy playoffs. So I'm definitely not fading Travis Kelce. I'm not leaning into that ADP the same way I am with Trey McBride and Mark Andrews. I don't know. I'll check in with chat, see what you guys think as far as big ADP surprises. I'm trying to think of, I guess Drake May, as I noted earlier. Drake May going in, I think he went in the 18th round in that last draft. That is pretty surprising to me. I don't think he should be falling that far. Let's see. Alex says A-Chain is sliding to the third now. Xavier moving up to the 5th round. Interesting. I don't know that I've seen A-Chain fall all the way to the 3rd yet. And I don't know that that's wrong, though. I think that clearly he has the upside of just being a hyper-efficient back in a great offense. Maybe he gets the opportunities, but also they did add a running back. They signed a big they re-upped the contract with Raheem Mostert. So I think that there is, no guarantee that Achane gets the volume that we're hoping he gets. So I think 3rd round is, I like him in the 3rd round quite a bit, but I don't think that it's a crazy late place for him to go. The Green Bay receivers, I don't know that it's that surprising to me, but it's a little bit surprising that we have such a big gap between Jaden Reed goes, where does he go? 59th ADP. Then you got a gap down to Christian Watson at 88. Like that to me feels like I just don't see a huge difference in the Green Bay guys. Then you got Dobbs down at here I can move Trey Benson up now. Been saying I'm going to do it. I want to get more Trey Benson than I'm getting. Nick Chubb, I would say, is one of the biggest surprises for me. Like, I don't think he's going to be back in a way that we want Nick Chubb. Put him right here. I think that's a good spot for Trey Benson. But Nick Chubb's ADP is, where is it? I'm gonna find him. Oh, this is sort of by ADP over here. Okay, good. Nick Chubb is going, and he's been moving down. Nick Chubb was like, I think his ADP was like 80 at one point. So maybe he's getting to a more reasonable spot. Yeah, ADP of 99 now. I'm not drafting Nick Chubb. It would take a lot for me to get Nick Chubb. He'd have to fall to like pick one, at least 130, maybe even further. Yeah. Off the top of my head, not coming up with any other, huge shocks here, but I'll think about what are the biggest surprises in terms of ADP. Not sure immediately. Zeke moved up quite a bit. I think his ADP was like 200 yesterday, so he has moved up quite a bit. Probably reasonably. May, as we see, I mean, like the ADP here of 163.6, that's fine to me. But the fact that he's falling now to the 18th round is a bit surprising. Yeah, I'll give it some thought what the surprising ADPs are, and we'll talk about it on a future stream here. Yeah, Xavier, but I think that's fine. Xavier Worthy at 5'11, like he's clearly rising up. You gotta reach to get your Xavier Worthy now, because he is moving upwards. I missed some conversation here. Yeah, I think that's fair, Derrick Henry. But you also see running backs pretty efficient with running quarterbacks a lot of the time, and we've seen it with Gus Edwards when he was in Baltimore. So Henry might just be like a 6 yards per carry running back this year. It'll be interesting to see, but I think the upside is there for sure. All right. I think that is going to do it for this stream. As I said, got to go mentally prepare myself for softball tonight. Gonna be an ace. Gonna give up fewer than 15 runs. That's my goal. My goal tonight: fewer than 15 runs given up. No, my goal is a W. That's always the goal in softball for me. But gotta get going to softball now. Again, if you want 15% off any package at Fantasy Points, use promo code Flannel. Would appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. This would be boring to do a stream where I don't have people chatting with me. So really appreciate that you guys have been here hanging out with me throughout the draft. Not sure yet if I'm doing a draft tomorrow, because I'm doing, again, tomorrow night recording Playing for Keeps with BP Colonia. Really excited about that. That'll be at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. I might do another best ball stream during the afternoon. I will let you know either tonight or tomorrow. Clint, I have not been doing any DFS content since I left Stochastic. I have been unable to do it, but I might at some point start doing DFS content again, either on this channel or I might work with someone else do DFS content somewhere else. So I'm not retired from DFS content, but for now, yes, I'm not doing any DFS content right now. It's just best ball stuff. So yeah, might do a stream tomorrow during the afternoon, best ball stream. Otherwise, back on Thursday with Brick. Oh no, I am playing DFS, Clint. Yeah, I've been doing some NBA in the playoffs and doing some UFL. I have not been maxing DFS recently, but yeah, definitely playing some DFS. All right, that is going to do it for this stream. Thank you all very much for hanging out. We're closing it out right at the two hour mark here. So happy that we're able to get a couple drafts in. Thanks for hanging out. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Catch you next time. Clicked end stream, and I'm not sure if it's done. It's still refreshing. Can you still see me? Doesn't usually take this long.